Hello, my name is Benjamin Hart. I'm an American attorney and the Managing Director of Integrity Legal here in Bangkok, Thailand. As the title of this video suggests, this is an alert as it looks like visa-run protocols are set to change here in Thailand. As a preface to this video, I have delineated in more than one video in the past that I view there being two types of runs, if you will. There's a border run and there's a visa run. Border run is what you generally refer to when somebody, for example, that's on a 60-day visa exemption, they run to the border, they cross the border, they come back in, they get another 60 days. Or they may be using a multi-entry visa like a multi-entry B or an O, or in the future, presumably, these new DTVs, every 180 days, you've got to leave, come back in. Again, how exactly that's going to play out remains to be seen. I've done a number of videos on that in the past. But that said, what we're talking about here is not a border run, not where you're just running to a border, crossing that imaginary line, coming back in with lawful status. We're talking about a visa run here. And a visa run, in my mind, is when you leave Thailand, you go to an embassy, you get a new visa, and then you come back to Thailand. And it looks like protocols associated with that, at least nearby here in Thailand, are changing. I thought of making this video after reading a recent announcement from the Royal Thai Embassy in Vientiane Chinh, Laos. And we'll throw this up on screen. Announcement of the Royal Thai Embassy, Vientiane Chinh, number 12/2567, regarding introduction of electronic visa service, e-visa. Quote, the Royal Thai Embassy, Vientiane Chinh, wishes to announce important changes in the visa application process for all visa types as follows. 1. Starting January 1, 2025, non-Thai nationals who are in Vientiane Chinh capital, and they list out basically all the places, basically Laos, if you're in Laos. Quoting further, and wish to apply for a visa to enter Thailand must submit their application for all visa types through the e-visa system at, and they give the website and everything. Quoting further, visa fees must be paid in cash. So they're making you use the online system, but you got to pay the fees in cash, in Thai baht at the consular section of the Thai embassy during 9 to 12 on working days of the consular section. Payment may be made by the applicant or another person. The processing time for visa applications submitted through the e-visa system will take 10 to 15 working days. Now that's a major difference to now. Anybody that's ever done a visa run to Laos, and that's a pretty common place to do a visa run here in Thailand. Malaysia's another one. Some people go to Cambodia. In the past, you'd see a lot more visa running into Myanmar. More border running, just hopping over the border and hopping back in. These days, Myanmar isn't exactly conducive to that as it was in the past, so we're not seeing quite as much of that. But Laos probably accounts for the bulk of visa runs coming directly off of Thailand. So this is pretty big news. In the past, generally speaking, it was an overnight endeavor. You'd go in, you'd apply for the visa, and they'd either give it to you same day, or you'd wait and you'd come back the next day and get it issued. 10 to 15 days is what we're looking at now. And this brings up another thing that I've been talking about at length in many other videos. The digitization of this stuff never makes it better. Every time you hear them talking about efficiency of this, oh, we're taking our government services digital to increase efficiency, that's just code word for making it more pleasant for us, the bureaucrat, to process these things. They don't want to deal with people in person anymore. They don't want to be held to any kind of time frame or be accountable to actually get a visa issued in some kind of reasonable time period. Now, I could see where there's some policy behind this. We've seen policy shifts regarding border running. They're not liking people being able to just maintain ongoing status in Thailand by just hopping out and hopping back in. There's talk now that it's going to take a day or two, even on a border run, to turn around and come back in and get lawful status. Again, this same sentiment, if you will, or this same theme seems to be permeating this situation with visa runs in Laos, where they're now making you wait almost 2 weeks to get a new visa. Again, as I've said before, digitization, in my opinion, doesn't make anything better for you, the individual, or for you in the public, okay? That's my only point. Now, again, I can see policy arguments for all of this stuff, but generally speaking, all digitization that I have seen, I harken back to a quote I've seen before, or I've talked about before. I even made a thumbnail in one of the videos we made on here, Janos Proha from Ghostbusters 2. Everything you're doing is bad. I want you to know this. That's what I think of when I think digitization of bureaucracy. I never see it get more efficient. And by the way, this is 17 years of U.S. immigration experience talking too, and especially when they digitized the National Visa Center, which National Visa Center was always a black hole to begin with, but digitizing it, in my opinion, just made it worse. And I'm seeing all kind of Kafkaesque denials and problems with the immigration system in the US, primarily since they went digital. When they were analog before and everything was paper, it really wasn't that bad. And they operated pursuant to relevant laws. Now things get stuck online and causes them to be able to make up all kinds of nonsense as to why things aren't working the way that they should, because they can blame the online system. They can always point at somebody else, and never ever underestimate a bureaucrat's ability to point at somebody else. That said, quoting further, the Royal Thai Embassy will accept visa applications through the current system until 20th December 2024. And that's the reason for the alert, because, quote, the embassy will not accept any visa applications from 21 to 31 December 2024 to prepare for the transition to the e-visa service, which, going back above, starting Jan 1, 2025, that's what we're going to be dealing with. So that's the alert, folks. And if Laos is saying it, I don't think it's outside the realm of possibility to presume that we're going to see this same policy. Again, I'm not saying it's a foregone conclusion, but I think it is prudent to presume that we could also see this type of policy change at other embassies and consulates throughout the world. That said, again, to reiterate, not a foregone conclusion, so we will be keeping you updated on this channel as the situation evolves.